Hey everybody, welcome back to Roadside Nuggets. Holy snap. I'm gonna be completely honest with everybody. I am an emotional wreck today. I am not okay. A lot has been coming up, and I feel to address the lack of feeling on this planet. It really is a big, massive thing, because I feel, humanity has given themselves so many excuses not to feel, not to be present with themselves, not to accept the conditions and situations that they are currently enduring and living through. And yet humanity wants to spend their time buying into fantasies and disassociation and lack of awareness. And these things are more important to humanity. I have been freaking going through the ringer the last 3 days. And the lack of masculine feeling on this fucking planet is ridiculous. That goes for feminine and masculine. The over masculinity on this planet with the feminine and the masculine is at an all-time high. And the pressure is going to keep building until that emotions, until the inner feminine starts to really break through. We have to come back into balance. It's been pretty hard the last couple of days. I know a lot of you out there are feeling these energies because it's going to create a massive catalyst. It's going to push humanity into a different extreme because you must experience the contrast. You must experience the polarity shift in order for you to find consciously within your own being the harmony. What is balance for you? Not for what's balance for everyone else. Not what's, harmony for everyone else. What is harmony and balance for you? Because everyone is uniquely different. So therefore, you must find your own path. All the while everyone is stuck in self-importance and disassociation, the collective experience has to pressurize and flip the collective to the opposite extreme. So they have experiences. So they have intensity and pressure from the opposite contrast, which would be divinity and pure light and love. To be able to give them a contrast and a gauge with what they have been living through, what we have been suffering and enduring through, it gives us a contrast. A higher and a lower. So in that, you are responsible and accountable for finding your center, your harmony, your balance. With all the energetics that God created you with, there is a distinct balance and harmony within your specific energy signature that is unlike anybody else. It's not going to be the same. It's not going to express the same. It's not going to show itself the same way. And we have to get out of this conformity. We have to get out of this trying to be like other people, trying to stick to, comparing ourselves to other people. I've been on a mission for fucking almost 3 years, more than 3 years. I don't even know how long it's been. With God. And I'm going through an emotional roller coaster right now that is the most intense roller coaster I've ever gone through in my life. And it's coming from me finally accepting what has been. This is an energy that's hitting the collective right now. And it is coming, humanity. I'm not playing, not sitting up here wasting time. This is coming to you next. And it's going to build massive amounts of pressure. It's going to push you to really feel yourself, to really accept yourself for what you are, how far you've come, and what you've actually been through. And that's been my insanity for the last 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours. You keep going. It's been nonstop. My awareness, I don't know what's going on. It's probably going through a massive expansion of some sort or something. I don't know. But the last couple of days, my awareness has been shot like literally like a rubber band. Like there's no slow transition in the middle. It literally is one extreme from another, going in from the details and the awareness to like the overall picture of where everyone's going, what's going on, what's happening with everyone. And it's just like for 3 days now, I've been going in and out, in and out, in and out continuously. It's literally maddening to go through this experience and realize and accept all these things that I have bypassed. That I have said, I'm okay, I'm fine, I'm good. And I really wasn't fucking fine. I really wasn't good. The amount of energy you devote to trying to pretend and flaunt off this facade that you are okay, that you're all right, that you're going through rainbows and beautiful, just pot of gold at the end of it. It's a lie. And until you accept where you are in these moments, and this is why it's becoming so very apparently clear to me, I cannot keep bypassing my suffering. The things that I deprive myself of just because I don't trust. Just because I don't like to receive so much from other people. I have such an unworthiness that I like to do for others. But when it comes back, it's like this shyness, this awkward, like, oh, I really don't need it. I'm okay. It's like, what the fuck is that? And I'm calling myself out. I'm calling humanity out on this bullshit where we try to pretend that we are okay. We try to pretend that we're not going through shit, that we just got it all figured out, that it's all cool and crispy, and it's just like, it's the shit. And it's really not. And the amount of energy you put into smiling for other people, trying to put off the show that everything is all right, it's not true. And you are lying to yourself. You're lying to creation. You're lying to God. And the only one that's not accepting the truth is actually you. Because everyone else is aware of it. In creation, everyone is fully aware every single moment. Humanity is always constantly the ones behind creation. So by the time you fully realize something, it has already been realized eons, light years before you even realize that point. So you must understand, humanity, that we are catching up. We ain't the leading edge. We ain't ahead of creation. We ain't the creme de la creme. Okay? We are catching up to where we are meant to be in creation, despite the delays we have had along the way with the cabal and our own self-importance. And yes, it's not just the cabal's fault. Humanity is in this mess. It is also humanity's self-importance. And thinking that they can do things their own way, that has ultimately split this entire reality apart into so many different timelines. And as a representative of that energy today, I am here to call not only myself out, but also humanity on trying to do things your own way. It's an illusion. It's a lie. You cannot achieve it, no matter how much effort and force and energy you put into it. It does not equate to the equal energy exchange of the goal, the result you are wanting, that you are pushing for. Because all the while, your intentions for it and your original intention and purpose is not in alignment with that end result, that destination. And you have to see that a lot of times through living through the experience to actually understand you don't have full control over this. You don't have full say-so. You are not signing contracts and telling creation what to do. It is not in your control. This life is in a multidimensional quantum experience where it allows unity experiences of all the individuals to be in one unity experience at one time, thus also having their own individual experience leading to the unity experience. It is incredibly multidimensional and quantum, and you cannot follow it linearly. It is not for the mind to be. It is only for feeling, for the heart space, for full, true discernment from the angels to actually be able to guide yourself through this process. And you have to let go of the mind. You have to let go of the control. You have to let go of the things that you have implemented to so much to the point where you think you mastered it is really just an extreme amount of control. And definitely one of the main things like today and like last night I've been like really just observing myself with is the amount of emotions that have been exploding inside for me, that I have been processing, going through, and really just taking care of myself, making sure I don't bypass myself, really onto this process is happening. I'm also witnessing a lot of things where my control and my own robotic programming was really excelled at in my life. And where really I have had a lot of grace going through a lot of bullshit. You know, like today and like yesterday, I've noticed a lot of just like slamming things. Like, and it's very obvious. It's very like instant for me to notice. Like when I start slamming things and start like throwing things everywhere, I can realize very quickly because I'm normally a very patient being. I'm normally a very compassionate, soft-hearted being. So like when I start throwing things, I start like being very jerky with my movements, just start snatching things. I can really gauge myself. I'm really going through it in a hard way, but I'm bypassing and I'm disassociating what I'm actually going through. But my actions and my behavior is showing me where I'm actually at. And that's so important for everyone in these moments, especially for myself, you know, just guiding myself through this process, that it's not supposed to be like this perfect scenario. I'm not supposed to look perfect. I'm not supposed to do everything in a perfect way. That's the fantasy. That's the belief systems that I control myself through, but it's not really my authentic being. And the inner child right now is pissed. My inner child is so fucking pissed off right now. And it is funneling so much emotions to me, to the surface, so I can process and release and forgive and let go and keep discerning through it. And I'm grateful that my inner child is releasing these things that have been such a freaking core wound, a core trauma within my being, which ultimately has dictated a lot of my actions and a lot of how I have behaved and have interacted with other beings. You see, this is a massive clearing that I'm going through, and also collective, because the collective is also going through this process too. And these energies are trickling out to you. When we go through it, you can best believe it's coming your way. Ding. It's not really an option at this point. It's really a motivation to realize the truth. And you've already accepted this contract. You've already, implemented yourself along the way. Now that we're in the thick of it, now that we're really in the storm of what we originally intended to go through, it doesn't change anything. Now that you are at rock bottom, really going through the shit, it doesn't change anything. Because the original intention was to heal, was to move through whatever needs to come up. Please, let's do this. Let's let it go. Let's forgive it. Let's love it back into wholeness. But now that you're in the thick of it, it does not change the perception. The original intention is still solid. Go through the process. Honor the process. Respect the process and love yourself the whole way through. Honor yourself for going through this process, because there's 8 billion people on this fucking planet that are refusing right now to do that. These are big roles, big potatoes. They're not small feats that people are just doing every day. It's like, oh, well, yeah, I did that. Fuck off. And I'm talking to myself too. Because that amount of belittling, of trying to summarize shit, trying to compact shit, trying to make things smaller, fuck off to the highest power with that shit. Because it's not really allowing yourself to be. And I have been an awesome example on this mission of someone with so much control, of someone with so much just trying to be a certain way around people and be a certain way for people, and it has brought me the least amount of happiness in my life. The least amount of happiness. The least amount of joy. I am so pissed off with my life as it is right now in this moment, because I am fully looking at it. I'm not looking inside. I'm not looking at little different fractals. I'm looking at my life straight on right now, and I'm so disgusted with what I am looking at. What I am continuously seeing roll out from humanity at this point is disgusting to me. I have been going through it continuously since like last night. It's just been absolutely it feels like an ambush. I'm not ready for it. I don't know what's coming. I just get hit with it. And I just got to roll with the punches. I got to breathe through it. I got to process. Have space. Have moments. Go out and ground. Drink water. Have a moment. Am I okay? Let it cry out, you know? But it really has nothing to fucking do with anybody else. And that's what you, humanity, have got to get. You don't live for nobody else. You don't answer to nobody else. You don't have no permission from nobody else. You don't need it. Nobody told you needed it. You're the ones that fell in dysfunction, feeling like you needed that from other people because you couldn't trust yourself. You couldn't accept your own bullshit. You couldn't go through it by yourself. Weak sauce. Absolutely weak sauce. To deny yourself joy and happiness and healing through the distraction of escapism and obsession and addiction, you have sabotaged yourself. No one else on this planet is to blame. It is you who have sabotaged yourself. You have contradicted your own intentions and your own choices. And you have deceived yourself. Nobody else. And God was not a part of that. So this is a really, really important factor, really, to fill into. The lack of accountability that humanity has for their own shit, and where we keep projecting this onto God as her responsibility to take care of for us. Really important factor, because we are not here to be babied. We're not here to be fucking saved. And most people on this planet, whether we have arrived to this angels point of reference, while we haven't arrived to this point of reference at this moment, in present moment on the timeline, we will eventually, very soon. Realizing that the people on this freaking planet never left. All those thousands and thousands of years. So every story you have read, every person you have admired, every person you have fallen in love with outside yourself, they are all the same people, the same beings, the same souls that have been incarnating on this planet for over a millennia. We never left. So if you feel this life is already overwhelming, if you feel like this life is already too much, you have no idea. You've been playing this game for a while, humanity. And it's time to come clean with yourself. How many lifetimes do you need to actually fucking be real with yourself? To be honest. To really look at life, what's going on, and really be real with yourself about it. How many lifetimes, not years, not months, not weeks, not days, how many lifetimes do you actually need to figure this shit out? That's not going to work. It's not going to heal that way. It's not going to evolve that way. How many lifetimes do you need for you to get that through your thick skull? It's ridiculous, isn't it? Yet that's our own stagnation, our own stubbornness in accepting the truth, the awareness, the discernment that's coming through 24/7. But we want to stay in this whitewashed reality where everything's fine, everything's okay. We're doing good. Everything's beautiful. Bullshit. Get real with yourself. Be honest. Because it's not. If you really felt how you feel, it probably is nowhere near that. An energetic frequency. It's not. And whew, forgive me, I'm like processing and doing a stream at the same time. So like I'm balancing myself out right now. And it's a lot. It's incredibly a lot of energy, especially for how, yes, docile humanity has become, which also has thus made them more masculine. Because let's look at something energetically right now. It's probably going to bring a lot of awareness to you all. Everybody has masculine and feminine in them, right? Energetically. So therefore, what is the masculine energy responsible for? Protection, stability, foundation. Be able to anchor energetics, right? Defend. So therefore, if humanity itself is extremely traumatized and abused, what would the actual cause and effect of the energy on the planet be and natural response to creation to balance out itself and maintain sanity and still exist on? Of course, creation, nature, humanity would move more into the masculine energy, not only to stabilize himself and protect himself more from the fucking dysfunction on this planet, but to feel safer, even though none of us really feel safe. Truly. So that's basically the cause and effect that's happening on the planet collectively with the energies on that. No matter the dysfunction, despite what's going on, the chaos, destruction, corruption, all that bullshit, the cabal, yes, we know it, we're aware of it. But still, nature, life, has to correct and balance itself as it goes on in whatever experience is going on. Therefore, humanity has moved more into the masculine energy, not only to be more stable and grounded in this fucking mess, but also to try to protect themselves because their inner self realizes they need that masculine energy of protection and defense and really anchored stability. Whatever they can really get through in that process, wherever they are, they got to push for that lane. Because the collective environment is pushing the collective that way. When you have so much war, so much treason and mutiny and just absolute insanity on a planet that beings still have to incarnate and live through, they're going to be more guarded. They're going to be more protected. They're going to be more rigid in a lot of ways and less flexible and less feeling emotional watery because the environment itself is saying to their very being, this is not a safe place. This is not a loving place. And you can feel that. So as we are moving back into balance harmonics and bringing up the feminine energy in us all, not only just for feminine and masculine, that energy itself is going to replenish, repair, rejuvenate, and heal the massive out of balance everyone has had to be in fight or flight mode, in protective mode, in the masculine energy, because they do not feel safe around others. They do not feel safe on this planet, in this environment, what's going on in this world. So whether people are fully consciously aware of this or not, their overall being, in essence, naturally, their survival, fight or flight mode, instinct, animalistic instinct in every human being is to protect yourself. It is to guard yourself. It is to push for some kind of self-preservation. And that self-preservation a lot of times can fall into manipulation, deception. Because you are so focused on keeping yourself safe and hidden or away from all the bullshit, you actually bypass experiences. You actually bypass timelines where normally the healing would come through, but you're so scared and paranoid and in fear now from what you've been through, you now have decided an ultimatum for yourself. No matter what happens now at this point going forward, I will always be this. I will always choose this. I will always go this way. And how does that equate from a linear perspective to a quantum multidimensional perspective, how that can keep unraveling in so many different unique ways, yet someone wants to keep a single, very linear, straightforward, one-way perspective about it, going through that whole quantum leap process. It doesn't work. It will never work. It's not supposed to exist. We are born from change. We are born to continuously change and evolve, and that will never stop. Your experiences and what you are now in this moment will never stop becoming more, becoming grander, because you are a god. You are a royal angel. You have existed for billions and billions of years, and that's not something that you can just stuff into one lifetime and understand fully and say like, oh, I've got it. No. The lack of compassion, the lack of patience and tolerance for what we have to go through, it's not where it needs to be, humanity. You cannot make it to the starships in these energies. And you really got to look at yourself in order to figure out what's out of place, what's out of alignment, what's not love. What am I doing right now that I'm currently lying to myself? And it's wasting my energy. It's taking my own energy away from the process that I could be fully committing to in full integrity. And I'm going through that process right now. A lot of that is slowing down, allowing myself just to breathe, allowing myself to feel it. Because if I keep dishing it off, it's going to keep coming back around. And at this point where I'm at in this experience with how much is caving in on me, I don't have the leniency of just like bypassing and letting more shit coming back around. No, fuck that. Let's just get through it now, angels. Okay? Let's just go through the ringer. Whatever it is, whatever is meant to be, I accept, I surrender. Thank you. Because ultimately, it is going to equal to a higher existence, a higher realization within myself, a higher experience, a higher form of healing that I can now receive for myself. But I have to go through the experience now. And I have to accept that. It's okay. You know, definitely a lot of loneliness has been coming up. You know, with all these emotions, all these different things about life itself coming up for all of us, it's gonna bring one of the basic core functions of being human. Like one of the things that Robin shared with Mom, like the one thing that Robin absolutely missed the most about the physical that he shared with Mom was human touch. Human affection, to hug someone, to touch someone that you love, to tell them that you love them, to kiss them and hold them. That's real experiences in being human that you cannot have if you're not human, if you're not physically here. Yeah, there's so much we constantly contradict or take for granted, and we bypass all these little small miracles that ultimately led us souls here to physically incarnate to actually have those experiences. And here we are playing small, being a coward, being a whore, bypassing all those miraculous moments and experiences we pushed for a fucking millennia just to physically get here in evolution. And here we are sabotaging ourselves, stealing those moments away, not allowing them, telling ourselves they are wrong, telling ourselves that they should be something else. Absolutely bullshit. I have been going through the freaking ringer with the collective consciousness, absolutely telling it off. Fuck off with the low depravity victim conscious bullshit. Get your balls, get your heart, and love yourself back into wholeness. Whether someone is there with you or not, whether someone is willing to be there to support you or not, it doesn't fucking matter. You stand there with yourself in the middle of your own truth because it's your truth, not somebody else's. And you allow yourself to feel the full fruition of that truth. What is the full idea, the full highest truth in that? And if you don't know it, you haven't been paying enough attention. And you gotta dig. You gotta really dig for yourself and find yourself in there. This collective energy is not going to stop. It's going to keep ramping up, keep getting more intense than it already is at this point. And the more you refuse to surrender, the more you choose to be stubborn, equates to more intense experiences. Thank you, angels. And it's not going to stop. It has to process. It has to fully be realized through somebody on this freaking planet. Let alone 8 billion people that have to also arrive in that same place at some moment in this timeline to move to 5D. You see, this is not some easy, drawn-out roadmap. It's a very delicate process that can only be handled and managed in the present moment. Because you can see as you go into the past and the future, which don't exist, how incredibly messy it gets for humanity and how confused humanity gets. What really is the right thing to do? They don't know because they're not even focused on the present moment awareness of what actually needs to be dealt with. So disassociative, so like out of like left lane, so they just out, not even coherent, you know? And that's a lot of my experience, especially today, you know, since I woke up, going through this experience today. You know, the last 2 days I've been going through is like, I don't even feel fully coherent today. That's like where I'm at with this. I don't feel fully sane. I don't feel fully coherent today. I don't feel like my normal self at all. I am so all over the place, and it's taking everything in me just to observe and manage myself and keep myself as much in alignment as I possibly can, while also allowing free space for these emotions and traumas and things to come up and process and release at the same time. It's a lot of work. I'm fucking grateful for God doing it for all of us 24/7. And in these moments, you really have to show up for yourself. I have been, you know, and as a masculine, it feels important to say, like, I've been fucking crying my eyes out for days. The shit won't stop. Today, I probably feel way worse than I did a day ago or 2 days ago. I feel more emotional today than I ever did. So much pain and emotion coming up. And I just have to cry it out. I just have to scream it out. I went on a freaking mission today. And I freaking, like, this lady passed me on the highway. She looked at me. I was like, I was hitting the steering wheel. I was like, fucking just screaming. You know, just screaming. Getting the energy. I was like, just screaming. Fuck. Fuck this. Getting so real with myself. Allowing myself just to have that moment. Just be so fucking real and transparent with myself. How fucking pissed and emotional I am in these moments. And stop trying to play off this scene that I'm okay. Stop trying to play off this fake K that like, oh, George has got it together. George is good. He's always solid. He's good. He'll deal with it. Fuck that shit. I'm not here to fucking pull up anyone's fucking belief systems or what they... No. It's time I really pulled myself into my center and really assessed how I feel. Because I have not been fully transparent with that my whole life. Really looking at how upset I am with my life. Really how mad and fucking angry and just upset I am with my life. My whole child life, my life all the way up to mission, even through mission. The shit I was dealing with during mission from like shit that I had just been growing up with. Shit like I didn't fully understand myself. And the bullshit that I took on from my father and all that shit that I just fucking emulated on mission, not even understanding and realizing it wasn't me. I had been playing out a nightmare that I had been living through, and I fell into it and didn't realize I was supposed to wake up. And it took me a while on mission to actually break out of that shit. And it's so incredibly painful and just awful to really look at the truth in it all. After living with God for so many years, after understanding energies, after like being in full connection with the angels, I'm not allowed leniency just to bypass anymore. Therefore, the truths that I have been running from my whole life, the things I have been escaping from, the things I have been denying, enabling, and just completely whitewashing to something else, all that has been coming full blown or back around to me. And now where I'm at now, with where mom has pushed me, in my integrity, with my awareness and my connection with the angels and just energetic feeling of what's going on and honesty with myself. She checkmate me. God has fully put me in checkmate to the point where I have evolved so much of my senses I cannot deny anymore. I can't lie to myself and blissfully escape anymore. It's not capable in my being anymore. My awareness is so freaking like a freaking eagle's eye at this point. It's like I literally go mad sometimes with how much awareness I have. And I just have to let it go. I just have to breathe. I just have to just sit for a moment and feel myself relax. Because it's incredibly overwhelming. And now that all that awareness has turned now to this core wounding and trauma from my childhood growing up, and there's nothing I can do to steer it away. It is full blown pulling everything out towards me that I have been allowing myself just not to look at, just to pretend that it was something else. And it's so fucking maddening right now and very overwhelming to feel this and to accept it. That this is what I have done. This is what I have done with my pain, with my suffering. This is what I have done to make it seem like I'm okay, like I'm normal, like the rest of them. And I'm fucking not okay. Nobody on this planet is okay. And I'm so over trying to pretend this overlay of bullshit where we are just okay. We are some of the most abused, traumatized species in fucking creation. This is the densest reality in creation, where physical souls are incarnating, living an experience. And it's not okay. The life you have had to this point is not okay. And if you think it is, you are in denial. You are in delusion. You have to get to this very rock bottom, pure understanding that it is not okay. The life we have been living to this point. And we have to change it. We have to figure out how to flip it. We have to figure out how to heal it. And how to do it in alignment with love. Because if you honestly think you're going to solve the same dysfunction from the same level of dysfunction that started it, you are going to be in for a ride of your life down nightmare lane, and it's never going to stop till you realize it's stupid to apply the same intention, the same application, the same intelligence and logic that you started originally with the dysfunction to try to do it again the same way, thinking you're going to get a different result. Dumb. Absolutely dumb. That's so mom coming through. Absolutely dumb. Instead of letting it go and actually accepting that it's okay where you are. We watched God for years go through the worst shit I have ever seen someone physically in front of my own eyes go through. Meanwhile, supporting a whole house of beings, supporting a whole entire family of people so lost in dysfunction and trauma and abuse, trying to understand themselves, not alone, also serve God, also embody their higher self, also figure out the human collective, what's actually going on this fucking planet in creation itself. It was so immense. Yet we watched our example go through everything absolutely remarkably in love, in compassion, and forgiveness, constant. I would tell you, there were so many moments of mission I would go insane myself over some of the shit that God would let go of. That God would just like dismiss. She was like, okay, I let it go. I bypass it. I forgive it. And I would go absolutely nuts. I'm like, what? I would never in a fucking million years forgive that shit. Tell that person it's okay. Fuck off. And yet you watch God, the perfect example of love and compassion and truth, do that anyways. And where I constantly came to this borderline in myself, in life itself, where I had thought I had gotten so far ahead, where I had discerned and figured out so much. Yet here is God making me really look at my shit. Really look at the work that I think I have done and realize that so much of it was out of pain and suffering. So much was out of rage and anger at other people that it really wasn't for me. It was to fucking prove a point. It was supposed to prove that I was dependable, that I was a reliable person, that I could do things. It's my own unworthiness. Yet everything I had built in life to that point, that I had thought it was all stars and rainbows, was absolutely nothing before God. It was a fucking fool's tale. Following myself around my own delusions. Until I actually woke up and realized what actually is going on this planet. What really is important? What is the purpose? What's the actual intention here? Because we ain't here living in hell for the fuck of it. We didn't come down here to hell just to have fun. So when truly this question is, when are you going to get tired of it? When are you going to finally have enough, humanity? When you actually start realizing you have to make a different choice if you really want to arrive to a different result. It's the only way. And you have to feel yourself through that process. Observe yourself. Know yourself. If you feel you're going to ascend this planet and make it a 5D, completely disassociated, absolutely evasive from your own life, you got a whole nother thing coming. Everything that makes it off this planet and transforms will be fully realized in divinity and light and love. No exception. Nothing, no one gets an exception. Gets a free pass on any of this. Which is why everyone is still here, except God, physically incarnated, going through this massive ringer now. Because she told you for years this was coming. She told you for years, get into the heart. Get out of the mind, cut cords with the shit. It's not worth it. Humanity wanted to push the long stretch. Humanity wanted to challenge God. Even in their soul. So you know what? The experience itself is about to rack up some massive intensity. And it will cause you to feel. It will enforce divinely your feeling in this experience. Because you cannot be disassociated anymore. You cannot be aloof anymore. You cannot be distracted from your own self anymore. You spend a lifetime creating a whole escapade of bullshit for yourself. It's time to let that go. It's time to burn that shit down and really look at what you've been hiding from yourself. Because these things are not going anywhere. These emotions, these realizations and awareness are not going to go anywhere. They will be waiting on cue, on standby for you whenever you are ready to accept them. And the ultimate realization in this is you are going to accept all of them if you're going to make it a 5D. So really, if you are so good at wasting time, procrastinating, fucking distracting yourself, going into aloofness, going to this, oh, I'll deal with it next week, all this shit like that, you keep playing that game, it's going to catch up to you real fast. It's going to bite you in your ass so hard, you're going to feel like God herself is right there with you, and she is. And you are going to move in lightning speed down some shit that you wish you could have had more moments really feeling through. See, this is that passion coming straight from God. Because these are experiences that are coming for you, humanity. It's not some illusion. It's not some like, oh, we'll put them in fear. We'll trigger them a little bit. We'll intimidate them a little bit on stream today. No, fuck that. This is real shit. It's coming. It is coming for all of us. And these are massive things we have to feel, that we have to process and realize within our own being, with our own choices, our own understanding, the things that we have accepted, the things that we have believed in our whole life, they're all shit. And you have to let it go in order to realize something other than that. And your fear and letting that go because you've identified so much with what you've attached to, that's your greatest test to really restore your faith and trust back into. Because you still have to let it go. No matter how scared or afraid you are of anything, you still have to let it go. Because there are greater forms of love, greater forms of inner stability, inner truth available to you, but you cannot see it and you cannot conceive it unless you let go of what you have already decided is your truth. Your truth is not God's truth. Your truth is a present moment in a process that has not fully been realized yet. Therefore, your truth is not God's truth. God's truth is fully realized. Which and therefore we keep letting go of our truth. We keep letting go of what we think we know. Because we're still not there yet. We're still not fully through the process yet. We're still not fully embodied yet. So the truth and what we have attached to, what we have trying to control to be and still be in this life, is not even the full realization of what that actually is going to be. It's not the full birthing process, not the full evolution of what that is supposed to or destined to be. But if humanity is in so much control, trying to pull it back, trying to attach and to keep it a certain way without allowing it the space to change and grow and evolve, it will never arrive there. And that's what exactly humanity has done to ourselves. Projecting the same energy on ourselves, trying to control, trying to keep in the same space, dictate the whole 9 yards, and say, well, this just isn't us. We just don't like these things. We don't like to do those things. We don't like to go that far. I'm just not that kind of person. You're full of shit. Because we watched God for years go through everything. Everything on this planet. So for you to sit here as this compromised human being and thinking that you got some kind of justification to say that you have a limit, to say that you have a boundary line you're going to set and you don't have to go that far, who do you think you actually are? The amount of blood and oxygen is pumped through your physical vessel every day, the experiences you go through, the life you have been living this entire time. Who do you think you are? To decide amongst all these things that you're going to control your own way after living a collective experience your whole entire life. At what point did you think you could separate from all of it and just choose your own way and it would actually work? It's not going to. It's obsolete. It's dysfunctional. You can see every single time someone chooses to do that, it will fall. There's no expansion in separation. There's no expansion in disassociation. There's no expansion in numbness and non-feeling. It only comes from truth, and if you allow it and accept it. So, definitely big points for today. Gonna check the comments real quick. And I realize this is probably like heavy tone today. And as I've said, I'm going through quite a bit of stuff. So definitely just the expression and the awareness and sharing with everyone, because I definitely feel it's a massive collective energy everyone is going through at some extent, and there is so much more coming, humanity. So if you're in the ringer now, pull up your Pampers because more is coming. All right. Let's see. Hey everybody, love you. Let's see. Comments. Beautiful, Michael, love. Michael shared that ignorance is not bliss. For the heart, ignorance equals nothing. Simple. I am accountable for being ignorant. I am accountable for trying to do things my own way. I am responsible for my own energies, and I am willing to transform. I am grateful for the opportunity to become greater and grander, a version of myself where I am healing, feeling, and evolving within myself, aligned with Mother God and with my sisters and brothers who also choose love over not love. I choose love, and I devote my life to physically manifest 5D New Earth by following Mom's divine plan. Honored and grateful. Love you, George. I love you, brother, so much. Thank you for sharing that. Jessica, you are not alone. We feel it, brother. Me too. I'm sorry if it's partly my energy affecting collective. It's everyone's. It's all of us. Because let's go back to basics for a moment, okay? And this will probably help give everyone a bigger picture. Energy doesn't disappear. Therefore, from the single moment you were born and incarnated on this planet, furthermore, let's go back. Thank you, angels. When you were in your mother's womb, you were bringing in energy, transforming, moving energy, right? From the moment you arrived physically here on this planet to the moment you are in right now, there is a massive amount of energy solely accountable to only you that you must process through, evolve, shift, change, and heal back into full wholeness and truth and love. That is solely your contract as a soul and responsibility to be accountable for this lifetime, this timeline you have lived through, and fully realize that to the highest point of love. Therefore, everyone on this planet has not fully stepped up to that. Whereas the collective consciousness is a mass of unresolved, unprocessed human emotions and feelings and things that they need to accept in order for them to evolve and go to the next level. Just the way it happens. So in this, it really truly is everyone's accountability, everyone's responsibility for where humanity is at this point. We don't get to blame anyone. We don't get to point the finger at anyone. We don't get to say, oh, well, it was the Cabal's fault. If it weren't for the Cabal, humanity would be in heaven, 5D. Actually, no, we wouldn't. The Cabal is just a form of our lower consciousness. Yes, it's physically incarnated in other people. Yes, there are beings physically here who are Cabal. But it does not mean that we are just absolutely, we're just, out of the way from that energy. We have no accountability to it. No. Because in order for that to even exist in our life, for that to even exist on our planet, our consciousness, somewhere in our consciousness, had to allow it. It gave space to this nightmare to exist physically around us and to affect us. That's our own consciousness that allowed that in, to be manifested, to live and breathe right next to us. That's our own shit. We have not fully healed and resolved yet. That allows the physical experience of Cabal. Don't you get it? And so when we really dive deep and really push through the shit in humanity and really process this stuff and allow it to come up through us, be real with ourselves, be authentic and raw. Just allow it to be whatever it is and don't judge it for what it needs to express itself through. Just be the vessel. Just be the channel that the energy can come through and allow its experience and expression and healing through. That's ultimately the goal. If you can just be the vessel, if you can just be the channel to allow the energy to come through without trying to contradict it, without trying to make it into something else, and just allow its moment and space to experience itself so it can get off this fucking planet. That's all really God is asking all of us to do. And yet we have so much resistance. We have so much stubborn bullshit belief systems and things we fight with ourselves over that where we constantly go through the ringer for what? A waste of energy? To feel more exhausted at the end of the day? To feel really more tired? But if you actually stood up and supported yourself, if you actually answered yourself truthfully, and were transparent with yourself, you would cut out so much bullshit, and all that extra energy you have been wasting can now be devoted to what you actually have to transform and work through. Thus, helping yourself feel more supported. Helping your process move along a lot quicker versus adding more bullshit into the middle of it. You see, it can be more simple if you choose that for yourself and if you allow it. And you gotta forgive yourself. I've been doing so much self-forgiveness, it's like unreal. Absolutely unreal. Even after being with God for 3 years, I'm at this point, I'm forgiving so much shit right now. Just crying out, letting it release and just come up and be real. Let that rawness express itself through me. So all you can do is all anyone can do in this moment is just to be real with themselves. Because honestly, a lot of times it's a lot of energy that just needs to release. It's a lot of energy that just really needs to express itself and fully be realized in the truth of it so the healing can actually come. Same thing I was sharing last night, is like if you're going to forgive something, right? Like if I'm not going to receive, if I'm like to receive something, I'm like receiving this pyramid, right? I'm accepting this pyramid. I'm accepting it. Therefore, I have an ability and a capacity to energetically move something through this pyramid because I accepted it. Now, this pyramid being y'all's bullshit and your issues and problems that you don't want to accept that actually are yours. Okay, say you don't accept it. So if you don't accept your problems and things like that, you have nothing in your hands to continue the process. I shared this last night in the trauma masterclass. It's really good, Angels. Thank you. In order for you to get through the whole process of forgiving, letting things go and stuff like that, like you have to accept it originally. And if you're not going to accept it originally as it is, you have nothing to forgive. You have nothing to let go of. You have nothing to release. Because ultimately, from the very beginning, you didn't actually accept it for what it was. You are trying to contradict, you are trying to manipulate and deceive yourself or change it to something else before you accept it, which actually makes it delusion, actually makes it fantasy, does not make it real. Therefore, you can't actually accept the truth because you won't accept it at all. You won't look at it. It has to be something else for you to even entertain it. And then you want to get through the forgiveness process. Why would you even go through the forgiveness and releasing process? Try to do that redundantly because you won't accept the original truth. It's dumb, humanity. And you got to let it go. It has nothing to do. This is not wrong. It's not bad. Whatever it is that you can't fully accept, it's not bad. It's not wrong. So allowing yourself to accept it, fully receive that, will allow you into the process of actually forgiving it and letting it go. But if you are so up in arms about actually accepting things as they are in the truth and realness, you will never get to forgiveness. You will never get to the point of letting it go because you never accepted it. It's so freaking simple. You can't go back. You can't change. You can't change the process. It's how it goes. And this will allow you to see more of yourself in authenticity, being really real with yourself, and allowing this truth to come in and heal yourself and let go of all the bullshit that you've been trying to play up for everybody else, for their entertainment, for their fantasies, for their comfortability. Fuck them. Because are they here with you now? Are they standing right next to you going through this bullshit of a storm right now? No. So what do you honestly owe them? What do you honestly have to give them right now? For what? Nothing. Because if you are stepping up and honoring this, you need to give that back to yourself. The self-respect, the self-love, the self-commitment, and consistency, it needs to return to yourself. Stop externalizing and putting out to other people and other things. It's like, fuck it. Let it go. Allow yourself to receive the same things you would devote and commit to other people in a moment. Do you deserve that yet or not? Michael said, I'm rehearted in the Gene Keys class that the true forgiveness is true justice. And much more, and mom shows us this. Mom shared this with her children physically and consistently. Shows us without conditions and unlimited. We love you, mom, so, so much. And so fun following the breadcrumbs. So real, so challenging. Love you so. It is true. Mom never had an easy experience. I don't know what you honestly think an easy experience is, and I don't know if that's what you honestly think you're going to get at the end of this, but God never had an easy experience. It was never subtle for God, she went through the ringer and all of it. And as she ascended, that she also did share that's going to be part of our experience physically. As we keep moving up towards the light, it's going to get more intense. So thinking You're gonna have an easy experience, or things are gonna be like lighthearted and very like a breeze. Oh boy, I'm like processing for somebody out there. Ooh, yeah. If you think it's gonna be an easy experience, you got another thing coming, and that's the processing right there. So I'm sending back to you. Good luck with that. Have fun. Don't spin. Push. But you gotta love yourself and respect yourself enough to trust that you can make this journey, because you wouldn't physically be here any other way unless God felt you were capable of doing this. Therefore, you don't get to doubt yourself. You don't get to distrust yourself. You've been doing it your whole life. You need to stop it. Because the same reason why you're here breathing right now is because God still does trust you, still does love you, and still does believe in you. So you got to return that back to yourself and figure out where you're hiding it at, where you're not accepting it, where you are sabotaging that same love coming from God that you are not allowing fully to come through, which is creating the lack that you are projecting and blaming onto everyone else for what you are not receiving. That's deep. So yeah, we are reaching the hour. I have to go release. I've been drinking so much fluids and water today. I have to go to the bathroom. I love you all very, very so much. Please be with yourselves today. Nurture yourselves. Go through it. Breathe. Process. Drink lots of fluids, especially during these moments. Lots of emotions coming up. I've been crying my eyes out. I got to keep putting the water back in the body so it can keep producing the tears. So it is a process. It's just a wash and repeat thing. Stay with yourself, love yourself, honor yourself for being here in this moment, in this space, because there's billions of other people who are not and choose to refuse this. So thank you for stepping up. Thank you for being loved. Thank you for supporting God in this mission and pushing forward and persevering through your own transformations and experiences you are still contracted to go through. So thank you, and I love you, and I am so honored to share space with all of you, and thank you all for pushing Mom's dream forward. All right. I love you all. Please take care.